بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. So we reached the 10th hadith of Imam Nawawi's Arba'in al-Nawawi, his series of 40 hadith, his compilation. And we've reached a hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and inshallah I'll say the hadith and we'll translate it. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله تعالى طيب لا يقبل إلا طيبا وإن الله أمر المؤمنين بما أمر به المرسلين فقال تعالى يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات واعملوا صالحا يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا وقال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم ثم ذكر الرجل يطيل السفر أشعث أغبر يمد يديه إلى السماء فقال يا ربي يا ربي يا ربي ومطعمه حرام ومشربه حرام وغذي بالحرام فأنى يستجاب لذلك رواه مسلم. So Imam Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said that Inna Allah ta'ala tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyiba. That indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is pure and he only likes wa la yaqbalu, and he does not accept except that which is pure. And then Inna Allah amara bihil mu'mineen kama amara bihil mursaleen, that he commands all the believers to do just the way he commanded the prophets and the messengers and the anbiya. And then Allah, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mentions the Quranic ayat Ya ayyuha rusulu kulu min at-tayyibat, that O messengers kulu min at-tayyibat, eat from the pure. And then he mentions the other Quranic ayat that Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum, similar meaning. Now let's just go to that first point. Inna Allah ta'ala tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyiba. When we think of our actions, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions all the actions in the Quran, He always mentions about purity and sincerity and intentions, especially when He's talking about spending. When He's talking about spending charity in the path of Allah. And when you think about our actions, the biggest action and the most corrupt action of ours would be our spending. When you think about really, when we're spending in the path of Allah, we say, like when we're going in the masjid or a good cause, that's when our mind and our intention can be corrupted the most, right? That, we'll say, okay, we're doing it for the masjid, but then all of a sudden it changes. And, maybe we want people to praise and remember our name. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran, He gives an instant. He said, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض. He says that, O believers, أنفقوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم. أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم, that spend from which you have earned. Okay, that's fine. ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض, and from that which you have reaped from the earth. Because of course people in those times, they were farmers, so they would give in sadaqah and in charity what they grew. Then a very important point after this, he says, وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِنُوا فِيهِ. And this is a reminder for you and I, that وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا, do not intend to give something which is bad and corrupt. وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ, from which you spend. وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِنُوا فِيهِ, in the state that if you were to receive that same item, you would frown upon it. You would frown. Now, for example, we've been having the charity for Turkey, right? So we have these drives and things like that. And people have been giving their clothes, their excess, their surplus shoes, their surplus garments. And a lot of people, when you look at some of those clothes, it's the lowest of the low, right? It's something, it's worn out, complete worn out shoes, worn out clothes, worn out jackets. And you think to yourself, imagine that was you in that position, right? On the other side. And someone gave you these worn out clothes. How would you react to that? Even if you were in the worst situation. So we need, when we think about this, when we're giving in the path of Allah, giving to poor people, think about it. If you were in that position, if someone were to give that to you, how would you feel? Right? Would our children accept that? So we've made it a habit that, okay, if it's decent condition clothes and it's okay, then that's fine. But if it's something that even you would not wear, then this is something that we shouldn't really be giving. Give something in the path of Allah that you want yourself. Go to the shop and buy them new garments, buy them new, because this is something that we want, right? وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ. So this is the point that I wanted to make, that إِنَّ اللَّهَ طَيِّبٌ لَا يَقْبَلُ إِلَّا طَيِّبًا. So whenever we give in charity, we should make sure that it's pure. It's something that we want. It's sincere from our hearts. It's pure from our hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in another verse, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُبْطِلُوا صَدَقَاتِكُمْ بِالْمَنِّ وَالْأَذَى. This is also a very important point, because a lot of us, we give charity to our own families or people within our communities. Like we help people close to us. So what tends to happen, that when we give charity and when we help other people, we always tend to remember the favors that we've given to people. Like, remember that time I helped you out? I didn't. You heard 10 years ago, I give you that money to loan. Look at you today, you're not helping me. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, la tubtilu. La tubtilu sadaqatikum. Do not invalidate your charity. Do not ruin your charity. Bil manni. By reminding people, wal adha, and harming people, that reminding them that I done such and such for you so long ago. Where's the favor in return? Whenever we do anything, whenever we give charity, whenever we help our brothers, our family, our community members, we are only in ajri illa ala Allah. My reward is with Allah. That's what our intention should be. I don't want my name to be heard in the community. Because on the day of judgment, سَبْعَةٌ يُذِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلَّهُ. One of the 7 people that will be under Allah's special arsh and shade will be رَجُلٌ يَتَصَدَّقَ حَتَّى لَا يَعْلَمْ شِمَالُهُ مَا يُنْفِقْ يَمِينُهُ, or كما قال that. One of the people will be that person who spent in the path of Allah, who helped other people to the extent that his right hand didn't even know what, his left hand didn't even know what his right hand spent. Meaning he done that so secretively and so covertly that he didn't want people to know. He didn't want anyone to know. He done it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's how the Sahaba were. That they would go in the darkness of the night, leave the charity and whoever got it. So they don't know who they're giving it to. The person that's receiving it, they don't know who's giving it. So that's how they kept their hearts clean. And inshallah, there's no issue if you want الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. It's okay to give, in the open and apparent if you want to encourage people. But how do you know about our intentions? Unfortunately, we're not like the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in. They could control themselves. So the best for us would be, inshallah, for the sake of Allah, we try to keep our intentions pure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the mutasaddiqeen, from the people that have pure intentions. And when we do things for the sake of Allah and for the ajr that we will get in the akhirah. Inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.